The Cleveland Browns' least successful matchup in their 80-year history. What better opponent for Monday Night Football? Hey guys, Oliver here, aka UK Browns NFL, and this is my preview of the Cleveland Browns Week 13 matchup against the Denver Broncos. This matchup has haunted the Browns franchise for a long time. The drive, the fumble, moments that highlight the Broncos' dominance and success in this matchup between two of the AFC's most storied franchises. Between 1975 and 2015, the Broncos won 22 of 24 games against the Browns, including separate 11-game and 10-game win streaks, and as everyone knows and every Brown fan knows, 3 AFC Championship game victories over the Cleveland Browns. When looking at the Browns' win percentage against every NFL franchise, playoffs included, the Browns have the lowest win percentage against the Broncos than any other NFL team in their 80-year history. Denver hasn't dominated any other matchup like they've dominated the Browns, leading 25-7 all time as we head into the 33rd matchup between these two teams. The Browns have struggled in the high altitude of Denver and are 4-14 all time playing in the Mile High City, including 2 playoff games. They have actually won less games at home against Denver, with a 3-11 home record against the Broncos all time. But the Browns did win the only previous Monday Night Football matchup between these two teams all the way back in 1990, a game where the Browns overcame a 9-point deficit in the fourth quarter and won 30-29 after a Jerry Corrick game-winning field goal on the final play of the game. And the Browns have had more recent success against the Broncos, winning 2 out of the last 4 games against the Broncos for the first time since 1988 to 1990, including a 17-16 win in Denver in 2018 when Nick Chubb had 100 rushing yards. History would suggest that this is going to be a very tough game for the Browns. An informed Browns team went into Denver last year and got blown out by a floundering Broncos team. Even in the rare occasions where the Browns have won in this matchup, the previous 5 wins, dating all the way back to 1974, have all come with a margin of victory of 3 points or less. The Broncos are favoured in this game. Not only do they boast a home advantage, but they come into this game with a top 3 defence in terms of total yards and points allowed, as well as a rookie quarterback who is making his case for Rookie of the Year under Sean Payton. But I do still think this is a winnable game for the Browns. The Broncos are 7-5 on the season, but have lost to most of the good teams that they have played this year. The Falcons are the only team that they have beaten so far that have a winning record, and the Falcons have a 6-5 record, so only 1 game above 500. The 6 teams they beat have a combined record of 23-44. Meanwhile, all of their losses have come against teams with winning records. That is against the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Seahawks. It's going to be an incredibly tough game, but I think the Browns have enough talent to beat this Broncos team. Coming off a big win against the Steelers and 10 days of rest, this Browns team should hopefully feel rejuvenated and motivated, and none more so than Jerry Jeudy going up against the team that drafted him in the first round and then traded him to the Browns. With Jeudy recently saying that he asked to be traded, showing his disdain for the situation that he was in over there in Denver. I think it's going to be a close game under the lights on Monday night, and hopefully a good game, good performance, and a good win for the Browns. The injury report for the Browns this week: cornerback Miles Harden has been ruled out for this game. Limited practice all week after coming back off IR, not ready to go yet, so he has been ruled out for this game. Defensive lineman Sam Kamara has been ruled out with a head injury. He did not practice all week. Unfortunately, Cedric Tillman has been ruled out of this game with his concussion. Did not practice all week, so unfortunately he's ruled out. That's kind of a big loss and unfortunate considering how well he's been playing the last few weeks and before he got that head injury last week. Juan Thornhill has been ruled out of this game with a calf injury. Did not practice all week either, so he has been ruled out. And then finally, Jed Wills has been ruled out with his knee injury. So we did hear them say that they want to see him play some games this year to evaluate him, but that's obviously not this game yet. So over to the Denver Broncos. Most of the players on this injury report have not received designation. They've been given the green light. They're ready to go. So only 2 players have designations for the Broncos this week. That is wide receiver Josh Reynolds, who has been listed as questionable with a hand injury, although he practiced all week, so I'm pretty sure he'll be ready to go. And cornerback Riley Moss has been ruled out of this game with a knee injury, did not practice all week. He has started all 12 games this year for the Broncos, so that is one of their starting corners, obviously out. It helps when you've got Pat Surtain, one of the best corners, if not the best corner, on the other side. But, with the other starter out, they are going to be having to have a backup in there. So hopefully something that the Browns can exploit. That's the injury report for this week. Moving on to my 3 keys to victory for this game. My first key to victory is the most obvious one. The Browns' offensive line has to be able to protect Jameis Winston as they go up against a Denver defense that leads the NFL in sacks with 44 on the year so far. The Browns' offensive line is coming off of a improved performance against a pretty good, if not very good, Steelers defensive line last week, allowing 1 sack in the game. Jermaine Ifedi came in at left tackle for an injured DeJuan Jones and played reasonably well. They are going to have to play even better this week against the Broncos defense that boasts 4 players with 5+ sacks so far this season already. They blitz the second most in the NFL and have the 3rd most pressures so far this year, according to Pro Football Reference. This is a great defensive front that blitzes a lot and gets to the quarterback. And they're going up against the Browns offensive line that ranks 2nd in the NFL in sacks allowed this year with 47. You can contribute a large percentage of those sacks to Deshaun Watson, who was sacked 33 times in 7 games. But Winston has been sacked 13 times in 4 starts, which could have easily been more if he wasn't able to escape quite a few sacks in those starts. The Browns' offensive game plan has to focus around negating the Broncos' pass rush through running the ball, attacking them in play action, quick passing game. I think the perfect scenario for the Browns would be to get an early lead in this game and, avoid having to be in drop back passing situations against this pretty aggressive defensive front. Help your quarterback out with a good run game, quick, easy throws, avoid those 3rd and long situations as much as you can. And you'll give this offense the best chance to put points up against one of the best defenses in the NFL. And on the flip side, my second key to victory is the Browns defense needs to get pressure on Bo Nix and force the Broncos into obvious passing situations. Despite Sean Payton at the helm, the Broncos offense isn't particularly good. They rank 23rd in total yards. That's 22nd in passing yards and 21st in rushing yards. Bo Nix has had a decent year, but he's not going to attack you downfield. The Broncos ranked 25th in average yards per attempt this year with Bo Nix. And whilst they haven't ran the ball particularly well this year, Sean Payton has developed an RPO and short passing game scheme to negate his quarterback's deficiencies in terms of his arm talent, which Bo Nix, credit to him, has run well and has resulted in him having 16 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions in 12 starts this year. Browns' run defense was much improved against the Steelers last week, a much better rushing attack, than the Broncos. So hopefully they can continue that this week. Combine that with, how the Browns like to run a lot of man. They should be able to do a decent job in taking away those quick options for Bo Nix, which then, gives this D-line enough time to get pressure on a quarterback that hasn't really been pressured that much this year. The Broncos have allowed the 4th fewest sacks in the year. Bo Nix has the 7th lowest sack percentage out of 38 qualifying quarterbacks. He's been sacked on 4.5% of his dropbacks this year, with the league average being 7.2%, so quite a bit below that. Denver have done a great job protecting their rookie quarterback, and it's no coincidence that their biggest loss this year, a 41-10 blowout against the Ravens, Bo Nix was sacked 4 times by the Ravens defense. So if the Browns can get pressure on Bo Nix, force him into situations that he hasn't been in many times this year, it will go a long way in stopping this Broncos offense. As I mentioned, they aren't a great rushing attack, Javonte Williams leads the team with 445 rushing yards on the year on just 3.7 yards per carry. And Bo Nix actually leads the team in rushing touchdowns with 4. The Browns defense has to play focused and disciplined when it comes to these, RPOs, screens, quick passing stuff that the Broncos like to run. Then they can force the Broncos into more obvious passing situations, more dropbacks, and make Bo Nix stand in the pocket, go through his progressions. And if they can do that, then, I'm confident that this Browns defensive line, led by Myles Garrett, coming off of a 3-sack performance last week, can get pressure on Bo Nix and somewhat shut down this Broncos offense. My third and final key to victory this week is to sustain drives and win the time of possession. The Browns are playing, over 5,000 feet above sea level. The air is thin, which makes you fatigue much faster. The Browns need to sustain drives, keep their defense off the field as much as they can, and, so they don't tire out in this game and can be as fresh as they can for as long as they can. The Browns offense ranks 30th in total first downs this year and are dead last in third down conversion percentage by nearly 5% less than the next worst team, which just feels horrible to say. They are averaging 5.8 plays and just 2 minutes and 40 seconds of time per drive on offense this year. However, the Browns do rank 13th in average time of possession and 7th in total plays per game with 64.6. This is because, thankfully for the Browns, their defense has done a good job of getting the opposition offense off the field. The Browns defense has given up the 4th fewest first downs this year and ranks 7th in opponent third down conversion percentage. They average 5.3 plays and 2 minutes and 29 seconds per drive, which are both smaller margins than the offense, which is of course a net positive. So, if the Browns can do a better job at sustaining drives on offense and the defense can maintain their success in getting teams off the field, then the Browns team should be able to, win the battle of nutrition and not let Denver's home field advantage get the better of them. This offense has to do a better job staying ahead of the sticks. So, when they do get into third down territory, it's more manageable third and short situations rather than third and long. Win the time of possession battle. Keep this great Broncos defense on the field as long as you can, and hopefully you'll eventually start to wear them out whilst keeping your own defense fresh and ready to attack this average Broncos offense. As I mentioned in the start, this is going to be a tough game. The Broncos are 7-5 for a reason, and history would suggest that the Browns are pretty unlikely to win this game. The Browns are going up against, what is statistically a top 3 defense in the NFL, headlined by Pat Surtain, who, in my opinion, is the best cornerback in the NFL, obviously not named Denzel Ward. But the Browns also went into last week's game against one of the NFL's top-ranked defenses and were able to come away with a victory. They've had 10 days to prepare after that big Thursday night win. They should be motivated to take that performance into Denver and come away with a win against a team that, if the Browns were to somehow miraculously make the playoffs this year, it could very well be because they had the tiebreaker over them. So, who knows? That will do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my content, then please drop this video a like, hit the subscribe button. It's free and it really helps out my channel. You can also check the links in the description to see where you can interact and connect with me on social media. I'm trying to build a community of Cleveland Browns fans, and as I always say, even if I only get to talk to one fan a day, I'm happy because I'm talking Browns football with the best fan base in the world. Thanks again for watching. Have a great weekend, have a great week, and most importantly, go Browns.